Hello guys, Thamma Journey to all. So from today I am starting your new chapter, the number system. So let's begin. So every number is made up of certain digits and these digits are 9 in number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So all the numbers are made up of only from these 9 digits. Now every number can be represented as complex number. So what are complex number? Now the number which can be expressed in the form of a plus ib are termed as complex number. Here I is iota and a and b are the real numbers. In this iota is an imaginary number whose value is equal to root minus 1. Now complex number have two parts. One is real number and another one is imaginary number. Now what are real numbers? So any number which can be represented on number line is termed as real number. And real numbers are further classified into two types, rational number and irrational numbers. And rational numbers are further divided into two types, integers and fraction. And integers are further divided into three types, natural number, whole number and prime number. So what are natural number? The counting numbers are told as natural numbers. It's begin from 1, 2, 3, 4 and it goes to infinity. Now, now the positive and without decimal numbers which are starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and goes to infinity are termed as whole number. Now what are prime numbers? So prime numbers are the number which have only two factors, that is 1 and the number itself. For example 23. 23 have only two factors, 1 and 23. For example 3. 3 have only two factors, 1 and 3. Factor. There is none other number by which 3 is divisible. Now what are composite numbers? So the number which have more than two factors, or you can say which have more than two different factors, are termed as composite numbers. For example 6. 6 have more than two factors and it have four factors, 1, 2, 3 and 6. For example 12. 12 have 6 factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12 itself. Now some important points. So 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number, and 2 is the only single even prime number. Other than 2 there is no single even prime number. Now between 1 and 100 there are 25 prime numbers. Next term, integers. So integers are positive and negative whole numbers. That is, integers are nothing but whole numbers with positive or negative sign. Minus 3, minus 2, plus 2, plus 4 are the some examples of integers. Now 0 is the only integer which is neither negative and nor positive. Now integers are further classified into even numbers and odd numbers. So any number which is divisible by 2 are termed as even numbers, and a number which is not divisible by 2 are termed as odd numbers. And in integers only 0 is the non-positive and non-negative even integers and even number. Now next is rational number. So any number which is represented in the form of p by q, where q does not equals to 0 and p and q are integers, are called rational numbers. For example minus 2 by 3, 8 by 9, 6 by 1, minus 121 by 31 and 4. So all these are rational numbers, and here the value of q be anything but not equals to 0. Q can be 1, 2, minus 3, minus 4 or anything, but it can never be equal to 0, as something upon 0 is not defined. Now rational numbers are further classified into terminating decimal and non-terminating but repeating or recurring decimal. Now what are terminating decimals? Now terminating decimals are the numbers which are terminated after certain number of digits after the decimal are termed as terminating decimal. For example 1 by 2, which is 0.5, which is terminated after one digit of decimal, that is 5. For example 15 by 4, which is terminated after two digits of decimal. Now next is non-terminating but repeating or recurring decimal. Now these are the rational numbers which are not terminated after the decimals and repeat itself. For example 1 by 3, which is equal to 0.3333 and it goes to infinity. This can also be represented as 0.3 bar. This bar denotes that 3 is repeating infinitely times after the decimal. This can be understood by next example also of 5 by 3. It equals to 1.666 and so on. It goes to infinity. It goes to infinity. So it can also be written as 1.6 bar. And this bar denotes that 6 is repeating itself after decimal infinitely times. Next is rational numbers. So the number which cannot be written in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers, are termed as irrational numbers. For example, root 2, pi, root 3, minus root 8 by root 2. Now some of you asked why the root 2 is not an irrational number, as it is also written as root 2 by 1. The answer to this question is, according to definition, these p and q are integers, but root 2 is not an integer. That's why it is not an rational number. Now, some of you also say that we write pi as 22 by 7, where both 22 and 7 are rational integers, but some of you might not aware that pi is equals to 22 by 7. 22 by 7 gives an approximate value of pi after 2 points of decimal. It was not the correct value of pi. 22 by 7 is equals to 3.1428, but the actual value of pi is 3.1419, and so on. That's why pi is also an irrational number. Now, as you see that root 3, root 2 and pi are not terminated and non-repeating after decimals. So irrational numbers are also told as non-terminating and non-repeating numbers or non-determinate numbers. For example, root 2, its value is 1.41421356 and so on, which indicate that it is non-terminating and non-repeating. That is, none value is repeating after the decimal, and same is for root 3 and pi.